Hello, and welcome back to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. I'm Rosa.
And I'm still Sharon.
Thank you for all of you all who joined us once again for another episode of Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. So last week we spoke about how we're gonna get a little serious with you all, and we decided to take that route this week with you.
Right.
And
And with that means that we're just we're always serious about the show, but we've
no,
been
we can get so
but we've been a little
goofy.
lighthearted about some things. But it doesn't excuse us from talking about some things that are very, very real, very present, very important in our life. The life that we're living, and uh, we're gonna have to go there today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And So we are going to talk about a little serious matter today, and we actually received a couple of our subscribers who wanted us to talk about this, and Sharyn and I also have had conversations about it, and I think we did something similar
Yeah.
with one of
Yeah.
our other episodes.
Yeah.
But before I get into that, you all know it's shout out time. So So today's shout out goes to Tiana O. I really hope I'm pronouncing the Tiana right. It's
Yeah.
spelled a little different. But thank you, Tiana, for just being a subscriber to
Yes.
Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. And thank you for your comments, too.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Deborah W. You always give us a shout out just to say hello. I appreciate you, Deborah, and we appreciate you being a subscriber
Yes.
to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least is Joel
No, Joelle.
Joel the Pretty Virgo.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Joel the Pretty Virgo. Thank you for
Hey.
your comments as well, and
Yeah.
for being a subscriber. We appreciate you all. We appreciate all our subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today's topic is signs of an abusive relationship.
Ooh.
So we'll just get into what are some of those signs, what they look like.
Yeah.
And the realistic thing for me, and I just want to say this before Sharyn starts talking, 'cause she gonna take the wheel. Y'all know she is. But when we were asked to talk about this, and I'm talking to Sharyn, and I'm like, well, I don't really know how to, come with that, because if you've never really experienced an abusive relationship, then you think you don't, know what to talk about. But then you start thinking about it, and it was like, okay, well, I've never experienced a physical relationship that was abusive, but mentally and verbally I
Yes.
have. So it comes in so many shapes and forms and different
Yeah.
things like that, and it was like, okay, I can contribute something to this because I've been there.
Yeah.
But at first
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, nobody ever hit me, they better not hit me, and we gonna do.
And there's so many
But,
other ways to
yeah.
abuse a person other
Yeah.
than physically, whether it's mental or psychological aggression, physical abuse, the mental thing. Just
Absolutely.
people can come at you many ways to really really upset your life and mess it up, and dare I say, abusing you in the process. And sometimes people are abusers without even being aware that they are being abused. Because
Absolutely.
first of all, who really wants the title? Oh, right. You've been abused, or that you're an abuser or have been abused. And we're saying today, as we thread this message to you, if you know someone, if you've seen someone, or if you are someone that has been abused, please know and take this number right now, because we're gonna show it to you, on the visual, and say it throughout our talk. But we got a lot of our information today from the. Oh my gosh, I'm missing some things from. It's the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and the number is 1-800-737-3674. 3224. I'm going to say it again. This is the,
787.
yeah, it is 1-800-787-3224. And of course, Rosa will make sure that it's shown on this screen as well.
We'll put it in the right.
So, so how do we get there? How do we, oftentimes we're in not just dysfunctional relationships. I mean, any relationship can have moments of, being dysfunction. We're not talking about just being dysfunctional. We're saying when things have gotten so bad to the point that it has now taken physical shape. It's now it has a abusive routine to it. First she shouts, then she slaps, then she throws things at me, and last week she tried to hit me with the car. I'm being dramatic just to drive home the point, but things just don't happen just by themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with that, we're going to talk about that because it happens to too many of us. It doesn't happen to all of us, but even if it happens to one of us, that's too many. And we're talking about, I'm talking to all my family and the loved ones out there in lesbian land and beyond, because it doesn't matter whether you're straight, bisexual, gay, binary, whether you're floating, whatever your pronouns are, you may very well have already been in an abusive relationship.
Right.
But for today's talk, I'm really focusing on women, lesbians that are in abusive relationships, and also my sisters of colors. For some reason, statistically speaking, black women, when they are in a abusive relationship, it tends to get physical quicker than other demographics.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know why, but we just, because
I mean, I grew up with an abusive, being in an abusive home. So, I mean, my biological mother was physically fighting her husbands and boyfriends. She didn't care.
Right.
So,
heterosexual.
it might be.
Yeah, and when we talk about people in relationships, I ain't talking about a one-time thing or somebody you see from time to time. We're talking about life partners, long-time, intimate, solo partners that you may be with throughout your life. That it's almost like they know you well enough to know what they can get away with. Does that make sense? It's a horrible thing to say, but usually a stranger's not going to do it to you. Your cousin's not going to do it, and a guy that you dated once ain't going to do it as a norm. But we're talking about partners.
Right.
We're talking about if you've been with somebody 3, 7, 9, 11, 14, 24 years, if you were going to be a victim of physical abuse, it would come from your partner as a norm. So having said that, 44% of gay women have reported they've had some kind of physical altercation with their partner, that they have suffered some type of physical abuse from their partner. 44%. Wow. Well, I'm part of that 45%. 44%. Not now, but then, long time ago in a
So am I.
distant galaxy. And as you speak, so there we are. We're part of that 44%.
And it's probably actually higher than that, really.
Because everyone doesn't report.
Everybody doesn't report. And then when you think about it, like some of the things you think like, no, that really wasn't abuse, but it really probably has been.
And as we say, 44% of gay couples, lesbian couples, so then it gets even higher for bisexual women. And as they break it down to just bisexual. Whether you're male bisexual or female bisexual, chances are that 61% of you have reported or said that you've been in some type of abusive relationship with your partner. Like I say, this is not a date. This is a partner, someone, you share the electric bill with, y'all argue over the cable bill. Somebody that you living with, you know what I mean, that you
Somebody
conflict
you
with.
say you loving and they say they loving you.
So, and then there's, and unfortunately, as we're speaking to everyone out there, somebody might say, well, how do I know I was with that I was in an abusive relationship or with some of the behaviors? And here, there's a laundry list, and what your list may be different from the next person and the next person, but they have kind of drilled down some of the I don't want to say popular ones, the ones that keep coming up repeatedly. Warning signs of an abuser. Usually the person is extremely jealous, could be, very possessive, bad temper, treats people and animals abusively. You know, if I see somebody kick a cat or choke my dog, I'm looking at you. What else do you do? Right, exactly. You know what I mean? Like she loves me, but when she gets upset, she beats the dog with a broom until blood comes. Is that normal for you? I'm being dramatic just for the purpose of making the point. What about, like I said, that extremely controlling behavior? You know, I'm coming to your job, and you get off at 4:00. You better be in the parking lot at 4:02 waiting on me. And if you ain't there. She laughing. You know what I'm saying. Sometimes the abuser will blame you for all the things that went wrong.
Oh yeah.
You see him saying dinner was okay, but you burned the biscuits, bitch. Oh man, you know, right? So now your fault that the whole evening was ruined because you burned the biscuits. Okay. Right. Also, like embarrassing you in front of your friends and loved ones. It's nothing worse than somebody that you say you love and told other people they love you, that they love you as well, and your parents come from Ohio and they tear their ass in front of your parents. And I'm old school. You can say what you want to say to me after 5 or 6 o'clock, but you will not act up in front of my family and my parents. You just will not. Right. That's just so poor. It's just, you just don't. You just don't. And and we say that, you know, Rosa's parents just visited us, was it last month or month before last?
I think last month.
And it was such a wonderful visit for so many reasons, you know, and quite frankly, I just wanted them to be in our environment and see how we are and see how much love we have.
Normal we are as a lesbian couple. Because when you're heterosexual or when you're parents of, you just thinking all kind of crazy stuff. And it's like, no, we have normal lives.
We really do.
We get up in the morning and put our pants on one leg at a time.
And somebody got to walk the dog and somebody got to do the dishes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But seriously, we were very, I was particularly happy that they were, you know, come stay with us, that we laughed, we joked, and had lunch, dinner, special moments and all that, you know, just for them to see how we loving on each other. All right, everyone doesn't get to see that. And I'm going to tell you this, if your abuser will hurt you, chances are that person doesn't have boundaries. If they hurt you, they'll hurt your cousin. They might hurt your mother, your daddy, because it's not a limit that they don't have normal boundaries. Well, today's purpose, you know, just even having a dialogue about it is just to recognize it. You know, if somebody's hurting you, that's not loving you. Someone hitting you, that's not loving you. That is abuse. So sometimes as the day we're trying to collect the information and why some of it is a little, if you say a little bit off, because simply a lot of us don't report it.
Right.
They don't get everybody. Right. They get all the people who do report, but they don't get everyone who's having a problem. Right. Does that make sense? And also, let me, I wanted to share this with you too. Even though, you know, whether you're gay or bisexual, then we have our transgenders who, unfortunately, they experience more abuse than any other, what do you call it? Category. Yeah. It's just, it's horrible, but it's true. Yeah. And if you've been looking at the news, it's not just transgenders, but transgenders of color. They go abused, hurt, shot, killed, and not looked for. Because people oftentimes feel like, you know what I mean, like you live in a lifestyle, like if you kill Maisie, no one's going to look for Maisie. You know, how sad. How very, very, very sad.
Very
so
sad.
So again, you know, I'm getting most of my information again from, the National Domestic Violence Hotline people, and not just the hotline, but all the people who feed the information to the hotline and made the hotline available. Now, what does this have to do with you? And why are we even talking about it today? If you just take a minute, just take 30 seconds, think about 4 couples that you know. Gay, straight, bi, whatever, transgender. I know we know someone who is being abused right now. Right. So Here's a good
But in
thing.
your mind, when you say, I know you know somebody who's being abused, and when I go through my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know who that could be because maybe I'm missing the signs. Maybe somebody really is, but I guess
When
we're
you
gonna
thought
talk
about it,
about the signs.
no,
I
yeah.
don't know. I
Okay,
don't know.
you don't know anyone who's being physically abused or mentally abused, as they call it, psychological aggression, somebody messing with you, mentally.
I guess I don't.
That's interesting.
I might be missing the signs.
Okay.
I'm sure I do, especially when the categories are, so many
Well, it
different.
touches
Like I
everybody.
can tell if somebody's being hit. You can just tell when people their mannerisms when they're around each other. If somebody's timid about somebody or flinches all the time or whatever, I can tell when that person's being hit. But mentally, unless I'm there and the person says it in front of like us, like I don't know.
Okay. And I think I do.
Okay.
It's interesting, and I appreciate your
Is somebody
honesty.
we know? Or
Yeah,
just you
yeah.
know?
No. It's people that I've met throughout my life, and
Okay.
if you took a current snapshot, I feel that I know of at least 3 people who are victims of abusers.
Okay.
I know. It's no. I bet my last dollar on it. Is it my business? It should be. Have I had a conversation with one of them? With one of them, and then and there's danger with that. You got to be very careful with that as well because you can never. You just can't push it back in the box.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do you mean you was talking to Sharon about what? Like, well, now she know our business. That kind of thing because there is shame there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shame is being found out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I hit you, but that's between me and you.
Right.
Don't tell your sister, don't tell your cousin, and whatever you do, don't tell Sharon, because I will tell the world. I got the hotline number. So please be mindful of that, and we're going to say it again as we said before. If you think you know someone or you saw someone or if you are one that you may very well be a victim of abuse, you know what I mean, this is your moment. Please find the courage, and if you can't do it, tell a friend. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I have physically on the behalf of someone, it's just like, what would you do if you saw your best friend just getting beat in the head with a brick? What would you do? Yeah, I can't help you, girl. I'm on my way to a show. What would you do?
Because you jump in.
Yeah, that's dramatic, but
if somebody
you wouldn't ignore it.
No, but at the same time, I don't necessarily know. I mean, because again, I look at grown folks as grown folks, and if it's a young teenager, yeah, I'm gonna say something or talk to them about it. Or older person who's being, taken advantage of.
That's senior
That's
abuse.
a little
Right,
different.
right.
But when it's an adult, I just feel like they know. Like, I just want you to know I'm here if you ever were to leave, but I'm not gonna bring it up and be like, Susie shouldn't have slapped you in front of everybody because you know that Susie shouldn't have slapped you in front of everybody. Or that's not the first time that Susie has done that, and you're still there. So if you didn't leave the first time or the second time, who am I to tell you the third time?
Okay, and I hear that. And oftentimes some things go unreported and unseen, and even if it is seen, it's not reported.
Right.
And if it ain't reported, it ain't going to be addressed. So there you are, your friend is suffering in silence. But so how do people go from I am a victim of abuse, but I'm not going to say anything, or I haven't said anything, or I've taken it for the last 2, 3, 5 years? Something happens for things to go from, if you are from 0 to 25, something made it go from 25 to 100. So that's usually it's because the abuse has accelerated. Oh, she used to just pinch me. Oh, she used to just pinch me and pop me on my head. Oh, but last week she picked up a frying pan and hit me on my head. Oh, last week she picked up a frying pan with hot oil in it and hit me on the head. And so what do you think is going next? it usually accelerates, not decelerates.
Right.
So again, we have to go there. It happens too often in our community, and when I say community, and I mean all of God's children. Like I said, our wonderful women of color, in lesbian land and far beyond, because you got friends, and you have friends, and you have friends. One of y'all have a friend that is being abused.
Yeah.
That ain't love. That's not a love type person. And years ago, when Rose and I first together, you do the interview, like, well, babe, when you're getting to know each other, what are some of the things? What's your pet peeves? What are the things that really bug you? What drives you up the wall? And she said it very clearly. She said, "You better not ever hit me."
Yeah.
And I said,
But-
hold on, that's very easy. Don't ever hit Rosa.
Right.
And I have it.
And that has a lot to do with growing up in a household with my biological mother that was just physical abuse all the time, and not necessarily with us. Yeah, we got beatings and spankings and stuff, but just my mother and her boyfriends and stuff. They used to fist fight all the time. Like, I
That was
don't
a
want to
norm.
be with anybody who wants to hit on me, or I got to come home and have to fight with. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But on the other hand, when I was talking about, abuse coming in different in different packages, whereas, mentally, you're abused when you don't really know that until you come out of the relationship. And I
Yeah.
know that I've been in relationships when I've come out and I'm looking back like, yeah, that could have fallen under that, because, when people tell you, like, everybody's doing me wrong, don't leave me like everybody else leave you. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the mind games. It's like, I'm going to leave you if you ain't doing right.
Yeah.
But you don't say that thing because you love the person, you know what I'm saying, or claim that you do. So
And with that, if you mind, I'll springboard
Yeah.
off of that. You're in a relationship. Something has happened with the dynamics of your relationship when one has convinced the other that you cannot, one, you better not leave me, and two, harm or some negative things will come upon you if you do leave me. Often the power is centered around finances. You know what I mean? You go toward the door, the next thing you're going to feel is something in the back of your head. You better not leave me. If you leave me, I'm going to take the car away. If you leave me, I'm going to take your allowance away or cut it. You can't even buy groceries without me.
right.
That kind of thing. That is control. That's extreme control. But believe me, it goes on
It
in
happens.
our communication. Exactly.
happens.
It happens. It happens more often than we choose to think
Yeah.
about it. But like I said, if we just take a moment and get on the real, we know somebody who's living a very unhappy life, or they may very well be living it but scared to share it with anyone, afraid to, or just feel like, well, okay, I'm going to call these people, but how are they going to help me?
Yeah.
And then we have people who, okay, yeah, they abuse me, I abuse them, and that's just the way it is. Right? And I'm gonna
We
tell
both up in here.
Yeah, right. And then I'm gonna tell Sharyn, one more inch, you're gonna be up in my business. I ain't trying to get in your business, babe. I'm really not. But I want everyone to at least be whole and healthy as they're in this relationship called I'm loving this woman. So that's where I'm at on it. For you to say, I'm sorry.
Well, I kind of feel bad in a sense because when you ask, do I know anybody? And I'm like, I don't. And I'm just sitting here going through stuff to say, maybe I'm just not plugged in enough to who I consider my friends. Like, I'm not that person that's going to come over your house and sit all day and hang out. I'm just not.
No, you're not.
Just not, we can meet for dinner and that's about it. And then I'll see you 2 hours out of the whole day or the whole week. And,
Month.
we talk on the phone here and there or text. But maybe, because I know friendships back in the day used to be like that. Like when I was growing up, I was hang out at my friend's house all the time or vice versa. And you get to see stuff when you're in the household,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe I just feel a little bad that maybe I feel like I'm not plugged in. And I know you made a comment a while back, maybe last week, I think it was, where you had asked me if I called one of my friends, and I said no. You said you're not going down for, like
Oh.
Always keeping in touch with friends.
Yeah,
and stuff.
right.
And I do
right.
keep in touch with friends, and I know what they're doing. My close friends.
But you have a very loose timeline.
I don't need to call them every day.
And that's okay. That's not a beat down, sweetie.
No,
I'm just
I
saying
know.
I'm high communication. I'm the
saying-
Gemini, you're the Aries, and you're a good friend.
But I feel like, just doing this topic that maybe I should call them more often than I do. But I just feel like, it kind of works both ways. They ain't calling me right.
And two of your really good friends that you went to college with, I'm not going to mention their names or whatever, but two of them, one of them may very well could have been in an abusive relationship. You wouldn't have seen it, and you wouldn't have been able to call it.
I would have seen.
When we met him in Philadelphia when I was there. Okay, I met him in Philadelphia.
Right,
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying with the long-term relationship, things that sometimes your best friends don't even share with you out of shame or whatever reason that imprisons them to even be in a abusive relationship with a person. More or less long-term relationships.
But I can tell even though she is my good friend and I've known her and I've seen her in different relationships in college, even the gap that had been there, and then we did see each other again, and she was with a friend of hers, boyfriend at the time, and if something was going on, I would have picked it up.
You think
because
so?
I am definitely good at reading people. I could see but it was the environment we were in. It was already really dark in the place.
Yeah.
We were at like this jazz place.
Hadn't seen it for a while.
It was really noisy, and we had to sit like at the bar or something. So everybody was kind of like spread out, and it really wasn't conducive for me to see if her and her guy friend, if anything was going on. But I would have been able to pick something up. If, Well, I think I would have.
Okay, and I can't, I'm not sword fighting you on this. I'm just saying.
I know
I was just giving you, for instance, an example that we both can relate to. You hadn't seen her for a while. Maybe some things weren't going her way, but even in that little pocket of time you got to spend with her, which was less than 4 hours, you think you would have picked up on something if there was something there.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. There's so many ways, and that may be true, and I'd like to believe it's true for you in the story that we're telling. But with an with an abusive relationship, whether the person who's receiving the abuse, if they're your friends or so, you're saying, well, how is it that I couldn't have seen it? You say because all abuse is not two black eyes and someone ripped your shirt. No, people can abuse you by harassing you. What happens when people are in relationships and one is in a very powerful professional position? It can come in the source of blackmail. You know what I mean? Something very recent the other day just came upon. These two people had a long-term relationship that was not known to other people, but the woman wanted to leave her, and she says, I'll let everybody know who you were to me. And I got pictures. That's abuse.
Yeah.
That's abuse. That's danger. That's so many things that's wrong. That's blackmail, all of that. So I'm just saying, people are like, Sheila's okay because I never seen her with a busted lip or a black eye. Well, no, that's psychological blackmail. There's there's things that, people, even, it could be something as mundane as, oh, gee, I have two of the most beautiful Bichon puppies, but when I come home, they always crying or, they had cigarette burns on them. Well, how the hell did that happen? Right. Because oftentimes abusive people are very dangerous and very violent people, and they don't just hold their violence for you. They can just do extreme other acts of things that you value. I've seen situations where the two women were arguing, but when the girl left, she beat her child. Mm-hmm. Meaning like, I know you love your child, and I'm beating your child. So when you come back here, and I'm going to beat you too, because things usually, again, they accelerate. So look, we're not trying to.
Normally,
go ahead, please.
And normally, when they do the extreme, then they go through the third phase. It's what's called the honeymoon phase, where they shower you with different stuff, or just say how sorry they were.
It's so sorry.
Or just try to, as Sharyn said earlier, blame you
Well, you made me
for
do it.
yeah,
You're right,
exactly.
you
Like,
made me
you know,
do
I
it.
just love you so much, but you just make me mad. So, you know, like, yeah,
And
no.
then when I get
That's not an
mad, I get
apology.
scared. And when I get scared, I do crazy things. And
And
one
I
of the
don't want to
crazy
lose
things,
you. You
right,
know,
right.
whatever.
You know, as we were talking about some of the warning signs, you know, they don't have to be, you know, a big boulder coming off the hill hitting you on the head. You know, some women enjoy their partner being jealous. You know, I got about this much jealousy mixed with a whole lot of that much. I got this much, that much. Okay, I have some jealousy, but I'm not crazy either. I do not stay woke at night. Like, now don't get me wrong, I can't sleep until Rosa comes home. So if she tells me she's gonna be home at 9, okay, at 9:01, if she comes in that door at 9 o'clock, at 9:05 I'm asleep.
Yep.
You know, as long as she okay, you know what I mean. But I'm saying I'm not up worrying and like who she with, where'd she go? Is she eating at this restaurant? If I go there, will I see it with somebody? Look, I ain't got that kind of energy. I told
know
y'all,
that's right.
I told y'all how old I am. I can't do that. I'm looking at Law and Order till life gets better. Okay, so I'm just saying I don't have that controlling thing. I mean, so yes, I'm a little jealous, but I'm not unreasonably jealous. You know, I'm not. I'm just not that crazy person. I'm just not. Though I see crazy in other people. And what I might think is crazy may be just the way you spell love.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you
Exactly.
know, well, I just miss you so much and this and that. And that's why I showed up uninvited, you know, and what the hell? Who was
And
that?
Sharon be like, who invited them?
Right, right, right. And the thing is, or giving people 20 questions on the friends. Hey, I'm going out with lunch with my friend. Well, who are they? How do you know them? Where do you know them from? How long you know them? Where are they from? Why can't I come? And you know, whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody is grown. Okay, but if you have that, when you feel those signals or see them, believe me, they're real. That's not your imagination, and that's the time when you need to question your partner. Like, hey, the other night, you know, you had a very dramatic reaction to our friends coming over. What was that about? Oh, babe, I just want to be with you by myself. I don't know why we need friends. And they start putting nails in the door, hammering your ass up in the apartment.
Then you realize the 15
Oops.
friends you have, you only have 2 now, and they
Right.
mad at you because they
Right.
can't get a hold of you.
And because they saw stuff that you just didn't see it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I say, well, you know, but she's good to me. Oh man, she took me to Hawaii. She took me to Dubai. She took me. I don't care if she took you around the moon 4 times. You know, last Wednesday she was whooping your ass.
Right.
You know, and choking you like a chicken. Okay, so again, you know, not to be dramatic for, you know, just for giving you some things to think about, but they are real. They are out there, and for those of you who have been in an abusive relationship, whether it's psychological, physical, whatever, prayers to you and hope that you got out of it and that you are whole and that you are safe and that you are out of it. Because usually if a person will hurt you, strike you, kick you down the steps, bludgeon you, punch you in your eye, chances are they'll do it again. And the
Right.
first thing is that you're lucky it wasn't both eyes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm not a oops, you know, the hot oil accidentally got on, you know, hit your thigh. Be careful, be mindful, be woke. Know that all love is not good love, or just the way that other
Absolutely.
people express love might not be your love language. And
Right.
y'all know y'all been with us for a long time. None of the love languages say punch you in your mouth.
Right. That's the language I need.
Right, right. So be careful out there. So again, please, you know, we can go into this for a whole hour and a half, or we can just take this 30 minutes and just give you something to think about it. But remember, again, it's the National Domestic Hotline. The National Domestic Violence Hotline, and the number is 1-800-787-3224. Rosa's going to post it on to make sure you see that. If it feels weird, if it does hurt you, if it's not good, if it's not healthy, if you're suspicious of someone's actions, there's a reason that you are.
Yep.
You
If
know?
you get those hairs that stand up on the back of your neck, I'm just saying.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
There
And
you
I know
go.
we're always talking about being all hooked up and booked up and loving each other. Some people love very differently, or some people don't love at all. Love is control to them. And if you need to be controlled, there's certain things that you need to ask yourself why that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because believe me, there's two victims in every story. One, the person who's actually doing the damage because they're a victim of their own madness, and you because you're on the receiving line. Right. What you do, you get yourself out the line. You make that phone call, talk to a friend, ask your friend to call. Call the number. Go back to your parents. Go hook up with a friend that you haven't seen in 5 years, who's nothing but a friend, and say, "Hey, I need some safety right now. I need a place I can go where nobody knows my name."
Right.
Okay? Because we love you. We know that every day is a blessing, but some days are challenging.
Yeah.
If you're having challenging times or hurtful and negative experiences with this person, get out. Close the door. And that's what we got. So and remember, it does all start with a conversation, but some conversation is, what's that number?
Exactly.
So remember, all things, they just start with
the conversation.
Yeah. We're wishing you the best.
Thank you. Love you.
Take care.